Good morning. This is World Cup Daily from Stoppage Time News.
Everything you missed overnight in one sitting. Coming up, a tiny island writes itself into World Cup history and the goalkeeper who made it happen. Japan run riot to send Tunisia crashing out while Germany leave it ridiculously late. And on the wire, Tottenham's £75 million move for a Newcastle man is knocked straight back. It's Sunday the 21st of June. Let's get into it. Arthur here, and we begin in Group F, where the Netherlands made a statement. Brian Brobby, handed a start by Ronald Koeman, scored twice inside the first 17 minutes, and Cody Gakpo added two of his own, the second of them the 100th goal of this World Cup, as the Dutch cruised past Sweden 5-1 to top the group. Later, in Monterrey, Japan ran riot. Ayes Ueda scored twice, with Kamada and Ito also on the mark, in a thumping 4-0 win that sent Tunisia out, goal line technology denying Ueda's side another by the narrowest of margins. It was a miserable first night in charge for Tunisia's new coach, Hervé Renard, appointed only after Sabri Lamouchi was sacked, and fittingly, the whole thing came in the 1000th match in World Cup history. Then to Group E and Germany, who very nearly came unstuck. Ivory Coast led through Frank Kessie, and it took until the death for the Germans to escape. Deniz Undav levelled just after the hour, then struck again in the 94th minute for a 2-1 win that sends Germany into the knockout stages for the first time in 12 years. And in that same group, the story of the night, Ecuador 0, Curacao 0. More on that right now. It is a fairy tale. Curacao, described by the BBC as the smallest nation ever to reach a World Cup by both population and size, held Ecuador to a goalless draw to claim the first point in their history. The man who made it possible was the goalkeeper Eloy Room, who produced a record-equalling 15 saves on the night. The Guardian called it one of the most heroic performances in the tournament's long history, and admitted few in the stadium had even heard his name beforehand. They will not forget it now. Dick Advocate's side, defended for their lives in Kansas City, roared on from the stands by King Willem-Alexander and Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, Curaçao being part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The BBC even sat down with the team's head of medical staff, Dr. Suzanne Huurman, as this trailblazing squad took on football's biggest stage. History earned the hard way: one goalkeeper, 15 saves, and a single point that nobody on that island will ever forget. Kate, what's moving on the wire?
Thanks, Arthur, and the usual warning. These are reports, not done deals. The big one comes from ESPN, with the BBC and Sky Sports also reporting it. Tottenham have had a bid worth around £75 million, roughly $100 million, rejected by Newcastle for the Italy midfielder Sandro Tonali. Talks are said to be ongoing, with Newcastle valuing him closer to £100 million, and the Daily Mail adds that Arsenal and Manchester City are keeping a close eye on the situation. Over at Chelsea, the BBC's Sunday Gossip column says they are weighing up a move for Florian Wirtz, and that Aston Villa are among the clubs credited with an interest in the Germany striker Nick Woltemade. There is boardroom intrigue too. Sunday's papers via Sky Sports claim the former Newcastle co-owners Amanda Staveley and Mehrdad Ghodussi are considering a takeover of West Ham, and Real Madrid, for their part, have moved to deny reports of contact over Bayern Munich's Michael Olise. Like I said, reports, every single one of them, so do treat them that way. Quick hits before we go. That Gakpo strike was a milestone. The BBC reports this is the fastest the World Cup has ever raced to 100 goals since 1958, the landmark reached in just the 33rd game. Draw your own conclusions about the new ball and those cooling breaks. To the Golden Boot, and there is a surprise on top of the pile. The Independent has Germany's Deniz Undav leading the race after his match-winning double ahead of Lionel Messi, Harry Kane, and Kylian Mbappe. There's friction in the Belgium camp where the BBC says winger Jeremy Doku has been criticized for wanting to leave the squad to be there for the birth of his first child. England's Declan Rice, meanwhile, is brimming with confidence, telling the BBC he feels he'll get an assist, quote, every time he takes a corner, and that the fans should be excited. And a lighter one to finish the BBC reports, Harry Kane and Dan Burns slipped out of a country music concert early by the American singer Ella Langley just to make the England team curfew. Back to you, Arthur.
So, what's next? The final round of group games rolls on today, right across the United States, Canada and Mexico. Spain, stung by that Cape Verde draw, know there is no margin for error against Saudi Arabia, and The Guardian says the champions have got the message. Australia face Paraguay in a decisive Group D clash, with Paraguay missing Miguel Almiron after his historic red card. And the build-up sharpens to the one a lot of you are waiting for. England against Ghana on Tuesday. Bukayo Saka is a doubt, the BBC reporting he trained alone, while Thomas Tuchel cranks up the intensity at England's Missouri base. We'll have shorts through the day, and we're right back here tomorrow morning. Stoppage time news before the final whistle.